The contract talks when it comes to Lamar Jackson have been beyond nauseating. By now, most NFL fans know of what's been going on with Lamar Jackson in the 2022 season, him not having a long-term deal that him and the Ravens have not been able to agree to, basically major dispute when it comes to money on both sides, obviously. And, that still came into the season being a storyline, but it's really gotten more focus with Lamar Jackson missing the last, I think it was like 5 or 6 games, something like that. Been out since December 4th at the time I'm recording this. And basically, he's probably going to be out for the wild card playoff game. As of right now, he still has not practiced at all this week on Wednesday. They play the game on Saturday. Or no, I believe it's Sunday. But with no practicing, that's pretty much like, trending towards him not playing. And basically, you put 2 and 2 together. The whole thing with him being out is likely due to the contract situation. Him and the Ravens not being able to agree to a long-term deal. And just the way you've heard their coach, John Harbaugh, talk about the whole situation makes it seem he's kind of exasperated by the situation, maybe even Lamar Jackson himself, with it being the thing like him holding out because he does not have his new deal. And obviously with this being more of a topic now because of the playoffs coming up and with Lamar Jackson not having the deal, media keeps talking about it. And I just find these conversations to be beyond nauseating because no one's being truthful about what the hell's going on. When you hear the media talk about it, we're talking about mainly in sports shows on ESPN and FS1 about the Lamar Jackson contract talks and him not having the deal. You would think that the way it's been sounded or worded, that the Ravens have not offered him a deal, when it could be anything, that would be anything but truthful. Ravens obviously, I think, want to keep Lamar Jackson. They did offer him a deal. That's what was reported early on during the offseason, them offering the deal. But the whole impasse is that Lamar Jackson wants Deshaun Watson money. Deshaun Watson, as many know, when he got traded to the Cleveland Browns, he got a new deal and a deal worth of $250 million completely guaranteed money, an unprecedented NFL contract by any standards of any era, to where once the Browns offered him that, he said, all right, let's go ahead and go to Cleveland, as he had a no trade clause, and that's where he agreed to go to, mainly because of the money. And once that happened, the whole thing became like when Lamar Jackson saw that, he just said, hell, fuck, $250 million guaranteed, I'm next in line. I got to have more of that money. When everyone in the NFL realized that shit was a bullshit outlier contract right there, outlier contract, to where that amount of money and fully guaranteed is beyond ridiculous. No one's arguing that Lamar Jackson isn't better than Deshaun Watson. The combination of Deshaun Watson not playing over, for 2 years basically, and Lamar Jackson having accomplished more individually, I'd say, than Deshaun Watson would make you think that, all right, next in line, yeah. But it's just a bad contract. It's a horrible contract. And one where it went so out in the other direction to where no team was going to do a contract for their quarterbacks in terms of raising the level of money. That's how it always is in the NFL when it comes to contracts and money. Whoever's next in line to continue raising the market price, it's up to them to get the next amount or like a higher percentage of pay, if you will, higher dollar amount, whether it be in, guaranteed money or just like the contract numbers, just all that kind of stuff. But NFL teams realized that shit was an outlier contract, a bullshit contract. And even the players realized that was a bad contract. Because after Deshaun Watson got that money, contracts that have been given out since then, Aaron Rodgers signed for less money, granted a shorter term deal, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford got a little bit of an extension. None of it worth the same amount of crazy money that the Browns gave Deshaun Watson, to where the NFL was basically telling the Browns, y'all are some fucking idiots. That was an abysmal contract. That amount of guaranteed money for a dude who hasn't played in over 2 years. And obviously I haven't even mentioned the baggage when it comes to Deshaun Watson. That's a whole different story. So with that, the Ravens are clearly, the media ain't reporting that, saying that the Ravens' position is that they don't want to give that level of money to Lamar Jackson, being that it's a ridiculous bullshit contract. Ravens have offered him money. I believe the amount that was put out there was a $200 million contract. Obviously, great money, and money that was going to be higher than, I guess, the guy who was his age counterpart and Kyler Murray gave him a higher deal than that, to where Lamar Jackson said, no, I want fully guaranteed money. So where now you get this bullshit media coverage of idiots all across sports, idiot analysts all across sports, like Ryan Clark, LaShawn McCoy, complete fucking moron, Joy Taylor, all of these people, Shannon Sharp, whole bunch of untruthful people in the media basically trying to put some kind of racist spin on this, saying that, they don't want to pay Lamar Jackson because of the kind of quarterback he is, how he's not the kind of prototypical quarterback, standard quarterback, all that shit, to where they paid Josh Allen, they paid Patrick Mahomes, they paid all these people. What's the deal with Lamar Jackson? When no one, or at least most people in the media, aren't being truthful about the situation when it comes to that. Not to mention the fact that he's having his mom be his agent. When the hell have you ever heard that shit? A guy who's having his mom, like a high profile quarterback, his mom being his agent? What the hell? Bruh, you ain't penny pinching here. You got money. People have agents for a reason, to be the buffer in these kind of contract situations and whatnot. And so no one wants to bring that up. The fact that he doesn't have an agent, his mom's going to be one doing the dealing. Come on, y'all. Let's be serious about this and say that Lamar Jackson has handled this all the wrong way. Well, you can debate whether or not he should have stepped on the field without a contract or whatnot. But once he got on the field, the antics that he's pulled on Twitter, referring to himself in the third person or whatnot, getting into Twitter disputes with random fans about his contract numbers. And then there's the whole thing about basically holding out now. No one wants to really say it, but that's likely, of course, what it is. It's a PCL injury that was initially reported to be 1 to 2 weeks. And then there comes all this reporting from sourcing. I guess what Schefter's reported, it's felt like 3 or 4 times that, yeah, he's close to playing, likely put out by Lamar Jackson's camp. And then, of course, Lamar just says, yeah, no, I ain't going to play. Basically holding out, saying, yeah, I'm not going to play the game. Which I always find that to be abysmal in sports, and I hate that. And you see it a lot in the NFL when it comes to players holding out, and when it comes to contracts and whatnot, just saying like, without my money, I ain't getting out there. For me, I'm always with the teams on this. I always root for flexibility and smart contracts, because I see the numbers that get reported here. Teams are offering these players money. But players who are going to be out there asking for unreasonable numbers, I never root for that. When it comes to contract extensions that have been given out lately for quarterbacks, besides the ones I mentioned, how's that Dak Prescott contract looking at? Everyone is doing the same thing, pulling that race card like Stephen A. Smith, saying, hey, give this brother his money. He deserves his money. Well, look how he's playing now. Is he playing like an elite quarterback? Yeah, I don't think so. That Kyler Murray contract was the same thing this year. Cardinals had no reason to give him a contract. He's a lesser player than Lamar Jackson is. Didn't really, what did he do? Like lead them to the playoffs once where they got absolutely ass raped by the LA Rams? Yeah, I don't think so. And they still gave him a fully guaranteed, well, not fully guaranteed. It was a 3 years worth of guaranteed money, 5-year contract overall. How's that contract looking with his ACL injury? And now you have Lamar Jackson, who, like I said, they want to pay. They just don't want to give him that ridiculous Deshaun Watson contract. I didn't even mention Deshaun Watson's 2 ACL injuries. Another reason that's a ridiculous contract. So you have that going for it. And it's the fact that Lamar Jackson himself has been hurt over the last 2 years, where he missed the final 6 games of the season last year. And then this year, if you want to say he's faking, or if he's not faking, if you want to say he's really injured, well, that means he's had back-to-back years of season-ending injuries right there. And if that's the case, then why would a team want to give a player a fully guaranteed contract? Obviously the player would want that just to secure that money, but contract negotiations go both ways. And that's what complete fucking morons in the media, like LaShawn McCoy, Joy Taylor, Shannon Sharp, Ryan Clark, all of these people just clearly don't seem to understand. So I'm with the Ravens on this one. I think it looks like it's likely heading to go with be a franchise tag for that kind of stuff when it comes to what they'll do in the offseason. But I also don't think it's out of the question that they might just trade him. I saw one suggestion saying trade him for Justin Fields. You know what? It's not a terrible suggestion when it comes to that. Similar type of quarterbacks and that kind of stuff, like run first quarterbacks and that kind of stuff. It might actually satisfy both teams when it comes to that. But overall, that's kind of what I wanted to get out there. Just the distruthfulness that's happened in the media when it comes to Lamar Jackson's contract. And I just find it to be nauseating. And it's really, like I said, the same type of shit I heard when it came to Dak Prescott, when it came to, give the whole like kind of racial component behind this. And that's what it clearly feels like, two black quarterbacks who it seems like they don't want to give them their money. When it's like, well, they're actually not quite as good as the other people that have gotten this money. And like I said, the main thing people don't want to bring up, Ravens have offered him money, just don't want to give him a Deshaun Watson contract. And I wouldn't give anyone that kind of contract either, not for another few years or so when the market price really kind of goes up because of escalation and that sort of naturally inflated kind of money and stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm with the Ravens on this one. But hey, Lamar Jackson, keep having your mama do your bidding for you. It's completely pathetic. But hey, you know what? Hold out and try to get that contract and see how things go for you.